a jump or two. There's a decent size though. Oh, that's nice. Oh, fish on. Fish on. Oh my God, that's a hog. Please stay on. Whoa. Whoa. Oh my God. Woo! Whoa. Whoa. Oh. Did you see that jump? Oh, fish on, fish on. Oh, nice one. There we go, there we go.
And welcome to Whiskey Tango Fishing, folks. We are here for another episode of Hook, Line, and Service honoring veteran and first responder anglers. Tonight we have a special guest. He's another Marine Corps veteran named Don, and he also works with an organization called Heroes on the Water. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and welcome in Don.
Good evening.
Hey, Don. How are we doing tonight, man?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Doing well, brother. Doing well. I'm breathing. The sun is shining, and I got a pulse. So,
yes, sir. The weather's warming up. The fishing's getting good here.
oh man, let me tell you something. The bite has been horrible kicking in this year because the weather's been so up and down up here in the Northeast in Jersey that
Yes,
you
sir.
get a couple days of warm weather, and then it dropped back down in the 30s again. And the bass were just not committing to moving up to those pre-spawn areas, off the shallow flats and everything. So I think I caught a couple small ones last week. I went out Saturday and there was nothing. Sunday I went out and I caught a couple little ones. And then I started casting out further where the drop-off was. And it was more like 6-8 feet of water. And I ended up grabbing a 2.5, a 3 1/4, and a 5. And I said, all right, it's starting right now. The weather's kind of leveling out a bit, and the season has officially kicked in. But enough about me. Let's talk about you. So, Marine Corps veteran. When did you join? What motivated you or inspired you to serve? Did it run in your family? What's the story?
Yeah, I joined in 1996. I want to say the delay entry program. I was eating chow in the cafeteria at school, and there's a Marine recruiter there, and I eyeballed him, and he's like, "Hey, you come here." So he started talking to me, and I was like, "I don't know what the hell the Marines are. I just know my best friend's uncle, one of my good friends growing up, his uncle was a Marine." And he was a machine gunner. Didn't know much about the Marines, so went to the recruiting office, talked to them. I didn't have very much opportunity, so I knew I was going to have to go military. It was my only way to go to college, my only way out of where I was. Especially, given our circumstances, you don't get rich people to run up machine guns, right? Machine gun fire. Rich people don't do that. Poor kids do it. So that was my only way out. And I have capitalized on it, I will say, and I'm thankful. It's given me everything in my life from that point forward that, it's improved my life tenfold from what it would have been.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I didn't really know what the Marine Corps was. I joined up the entry program. The recruiter came to my house for me to sign some paperwork. I had just turned 18, or I might have been 17 at the time. No, I was 17. And I told my mom that, if you sign this stuff so I can go to the delay entry program, then I won't go infantry. That was the agreement. I said, but if you don't, in a couple weeks when I turn 18, I'm going to go ahead and sign up as infantry. So either way, I'm signing up. And so she decided that was a great idea and a great deal. And I hold my word. So I did not go infantry. I wound up in engineering. A little known. Say again?
Sweet.
Yeah, a little known MOS welder. We used to joke around and call it the 1369, an unlucky cocksucker, because you don't get promoted very well after sergeant. But it was 1316 is the actual number for it, the MOS number. And from there, I wound up being a marksmanship instructor for my unit at 272. And I was mostly stateside. I spent a year in Okie, and then I got trapped right before 9/11, had orders and had asked for them to be delayed so my son could be born at Camp Lejeune. And the orders were to go to the MOS school for welding as an instructor. And so I got trapped there for my last 3 years of my career, 3.5 years.
That's a pretty good deal. I was an instructor for Stinger missiles for a little bit.
Okay.
Out at the school, Fort Bliss. But ended up, my son was born with some medical issues. He spent most of his first 2 years in the hospital. And
yes, sir.
And to look at him now, you'd never know. But the first couple of years were kind of rough. And I was home on leave, and he got sick and ended up in Children's Hospital. And I requested a humanitarian transfer out there because Children's Hospital in Philly caught something that the hospital out in El Paso had misdiagnosed. And had that not happened, he could have been paralyzed or died. So I was like, I'm not trusting those doctors anymore. So I did what I had to do and everything.
Yeah.
How many years did you serve?
I served from 1997 till 2005. 2005, yeah. I was just going to say 2003. My son was born in 2003. I served a little bit over 8 years. But I had to, that's funny because my youngest son had medical issues. And 6 months. Yeah, and that's, God plays a part in everything in our lives, whether we know it or not. And I think God said, time to get out of the Marines. And I got out, and within 6 months, I had full custody of both my sons. And I went through the whole 2-3 years of in and out of the hospital with my youngest son, and finally got him straightened out and thing. And again, same thing as yours. I mean, God, you wouldn't know it today,
Yeah. But when they're going through it, it's rough. And I'll tell you something. Yeah. It's weird. It's almost like we were on very similar paths. And just 4 years apart, because I went in 92 and got out in 2000. I did 8 years active as well. I ended up raising my son. That's why I got off active duty. I didn't want to bounce him around the country as a single parent. And, now he graduated college in 2019. He's engaged. He's getting married this fall. And he's doing really well for himself. And I couldn't be more proud as a dad. So, it's I look at stuff and I go, all the mistakes we make in life, I did something right, but that's pretty cool. Now, when did you get into fishing?
Oh man, I think I was about 8 years old when Grandpa took us to the lake, Medford Lake, over there in South Jersey. Yeah, I'm originally from South Jersey. I'm very familiar with the area.
Gotcha.
And Chop, and my son was in Chop. Where are you at?
I'm in Florence area.
Oh, I used to work up in Florence at DC Fabricators. I used to build the heat exchangers for nuclear subs as an assistant welding engineer. Post-Marine Corps, thank you for being a welder. Thank you for that welding and engineering technicality there, Marines. Yeah, it's probably about 8 when my grandpa, maybe even younger than that, 5, 6, when my grandpa took me over to Medford Lakes, and he was showing us how to cast, and he had one of the little push button like Zebcos. Yeah. And all he had on was a weight. And he's like, man, that damn thing went right through a fish's eyeball, and he hooked the fish with no weight. Reeled it back in. Sunfish, yeah.
Wow.
Like, man, that's the only guy who can catch a fish without a hook. So that started it. And my family, my dad's side of the family lived all in Cape May Courthouse, Dennisville area. My great-grandmother was alive till I was about 11, 12. And her and my great grandfather would take me out usually because I'd be over there in place out on the Grady White. They get me up at freaking stupid dark early and feed me breakfast, and then they take me over to the arena where the boat was, and the boat would be in the water. They pulled off the lift and put it in the water for them, and they had this old Grady White, 80 something, 24-foot. I want to say it was a single. It might have been a twin inboard outboard. And man, they would just drive, and I think about that because I have a boat now, and they would just drive with a little compass on it, and that's it. It's a little damn compass, and they drive. Looking at the headings every once in a while. And Grandpa, he'd floor that thing, and my great grandfather, and he'd stick me in the captain's chair when we were going between the bridge pylons, and he'd go, "Don't hit the bridge," and then just hand me the wheel, and I'm. Which is not much different from how I drive now.
I hear you.
Yeah, so it's my whole family. It's been a tradition. We grew up down there in South Jersey, fishing, clamming, because my great grandfather's house was right around the bend. I forget the dang name of the bay. It's right there at the end of it's a Green Creek Road. Oh man, now I'm drawing a blank. It's been a while. My great aunt still lives there, but it's right down the street from the Green Creek Fire Hall. If you keep going, you hit the bay. And they would drive us up there like a mile, and we'd go clamming, we'd go crabbing, we'd fish for stripers, flounder. My great-grandparents take me out to catch flounder, and we'd fill a cooler up, before lunchtime and come home, and my great-grandmother would clean those things quicker than all heck and hand me a bag and go bury it in the garden, It'll fertilize the garden. We'll start burying these out there. Make sure it's deep so cats don't dig them up.
Definitely. So do you do fresh and salt water? It seems like you did both when you were younger.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I grew up fishing mostly freshwater up there in Sicklerville, over in Franklin Township. There's a lake, Wilson's Lake, I think. If I remember, Medford Lakes as a kid with my grandfather. He'd always take us there, and we'd spend hours just trying to catch stuff with little balls of dough. We'd roll up and put the pinhole through and freeze and let them, or put them out. I'm sorry, and let them get all crusty and dry, and pitch them in and try and get the little sunfish and stuff. And then my uncle would take me over to Wilson's Lake down in Franklin Township, and we'd fish over there. And then he converted my fish tank at the house into a bait tank. He just dumped all the extra bait in there, and that actually looked better than any other fish I had in my whole life. And then my dad's side of the family, like I said, everyone's 15, 20 minutes, not even 20, probably about 10 to 15 minutes from the salt, the bays, and the back waters up there. So
that's pretty cool.
Spent a lot of time in the canoe out in those areas.
Okay.
We call them the back bays. Down here, we call them the flats. I'm in South Carolina now, and just in case people are wondering why I keep referring to down here versus up there, And our weather's been just as screwy down here as it's been up there. Y'all keep sending some crazy stuff down.
Yeah.
It's super cold. I mean, last week I was wearing sweatshirts. It was a high of 60s. Cold, overcast, no humidity, and cold wind. And this week it started out cold, 50s, and it's going to 88, 90 degrees. So we're hoping the lake heats up this weekend.
It seems like it's starting to level out a little bit and get a little more normal.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of salt. I'll go occasionally in November. Because I'm about an hour and a half or so from the shore, right?
Yeah.
So after November 15th, the tog limit goes up from 1 fish to 5 fish. So I'm not going to drive an hour and a half for one keeper, right?
Right.
But I'll go down there when I can keep up to 5, and I'll do some tog fishing off the jetty.
Which jetty are you hitting?
What's that?
Which jetty are you hitting?
So I had been going to the Cape May jetty because a buddy of mine has a place in Wildwood, and we're going down there. But he told me that some of his friends were out there fishing, and they got approached and told that they're not allowed to fish there anymore because I think technically it's within the boundary of the Coast Guard station. So, but there were always people fishing out there. So I don't know, but so I didn't go there last year. I went down to Atlantic City and was off the jetty there, and I got one keeper and a couple smalls, but
You
but I'm
can catch
trying to
some good
find some.
bluefish out there.
What's that?
You catch some good bluefish. You're talking about North Beach?
I haven't. I haven't caught any blues. I haven't really
Okay.
gone for blues, um, and I haven't caught them by accident either. Um, Last May, I went on a small charter. It was like a 6-person charter out of Montauk,
Mm-hmm.
and we went for porgy. So we were between Long Island and Connecticut,
Right.
and there were 6 of us there, and then the mate and the captain, and it was an 8-hour trip. It was really 8 hours and 45 minutes, almost 9 hours,
Yeah, yeah.
and we were catching porgy all day long, and we probably were able to keep about 85, 90 fish, just ballparking,
Wow.
and
Yeah,
then we
yeah.
probably threw back another few dozen that were too short. So it was a fun day, and it was not
Yeah.
real expensive. I think it was like $1.50 a piece, and that
Nice.
included the tip for the mate. So for a
Yeah,
full day, that's not bad. Um,
yeah.
and then I took a charter in September. It was a party boat, and that was for flounder. There were
Right.
some people that caught some nice sized flounder. Um, I caught mostly sea bass, which had
Okay.
gone out of season the week before, so you couldn't keep
So,
them.
yeah,
And I
always
caught
wet.
some shorts. But a buddy of mine actually caught a triggerfish that was a keeper, and it was a nice sized
Nice.
fish.
Yeah, they're
So
good.
that was cool. But
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the party boats. I like that smaller charter, that 6-person charter thing.
Well, down
That's
here,
decent.
we
What's
don't
that?
have party boats. Down here, we don't have party boats.
Good.
It's illegal. I want to say it's illegal. They banned large party boat fishing.
Okay.
So you only get private charters, and they're all 6-pack license. So it's 6 people outside the crew. So I have a
Gotcha.
buddy of mine. So I became friends with several captains in the area. One's
Yeah.
they run a 40-foot sport yacht. They go out to the ledge, hunt, or they go a long ways offshore to get to 100+ foot water. But it's also the blue turquoise water
Yeah.
for chasing the tuna, the mahi, the wahoo. You can get mahi closer, but the tuna and the wahoo are out there at the ledges. The
I
Gulf Stream.
love to catch like some tuna, some wahoo, some mahi, stuff
Yeah,
like that.
I think I sent you a picture of me kissing the one blackfin I caught.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was with those guys. But that was back before they had the 40-foot sporty. And I was talking to my buddy, and I'm like, yeah, because he's the one who I went with, and I'm like, yeah, it was like a 32-foot. And he's like, no, dude, it was a 28-foot. And I'm like, holy crap, we went that far in a 28-foot boat. And he's like, yeah, that's why it took 2 hours each way. And I'm like,
Yeah.
don't tell me next time until like months later, because like I'm like, Jesus, I only own a 19-foot boat. That's not much bigger, 28.
Yeah.
And I'm friends with another captain, and he does the intermediate stuff. We call them grocery trips, where now we're coming into grouper. I've caught grouper, I've caught porgy, I've caught triggerfish with him. There's some other ones I can't remember. Oh, Vermilion snapper, they're great, tasty. Pretty close to what I'm told a red snapper's like, because they only give us 3 days to fish red snapper here, and it's always the worst 3-day weekend after 4th of July. It's always the worst weather. It's like hurricane weather, but not hurricane, and you can't get offshore, and it's nasty.
Wow.
But they're changing regs, so we might get like a 2-month snapper season. But they're changing our limits on redfish, which I caught this weekend on. My wife's cooking up right now for dinner. Yeah.
That's
so
a good deal.
They're going to limit us to one of them because they're saying they're overfished. And I'm like, you need to talk to them damn dolphins. Because every time I'm in these creeks and these rivers, there are pods of dolphins in there. Well, they ain't great fish. You know what I mean? And redfish are a good meal for them. So
yeah. I don't go for striper up here because for the last several years, you're only allowed to catch one fish or keep one fish. It's got to be between 28 and 31 inches. I said that is too tight of a window for me to put any kind of effort into. Like, I'm not even going to bother.
Yeah, I go, like I've caught, and that's why they're talking about, because they've sent out the biologists, the DNR wildlife people, and they go out. The guys I know, their captains have taken them. The one I was telling you about, the grocery store trip, does a lot of bottom fishing.
Gotcha.
You have to move spots because you can't get your bait down, and all you're catching is American red snapper, American red, and we're not allowed to keep them. And it's like, well, what the hell? I mean, it's fun to catch. I have a picture with one, but
yeah,
that ain't filling the cooler, at home. That's not feeding me at home. So,
yeah.
And then I do all my own inshore fishing now. My other buddy, where my boat's stored, he's a captain inshore up to near shore. And
Nice.
I've run out to the jetties, around the end of the jetties. I fished there. We caught a bunch of short black drum and sea bass.
Okay.
Or actually it was mostly sea bass, and they were shorts.
Gotcha.
I have yet to master the skill of catching sheep's head, so that's on the list for this year.
Are they similar to tog?
I watched your video of whichever one you went on the charter with. Was that the tog you were going for, or porgy?
That was the charter was porgy.
Okay, so sheep's head
tog look like they need braces. They look like they have human teeth.
Yes,
another name for them is blackfish.
Well, sheep's head here have stripes, black and silver stripes, similar to a black drum, but they have looks like buck human teeth, like this.
Yeah.
Like that's for grabbing the damn stuff off the pilings and all, and crushing up the crustaceans.
Gotcha. Yeah, they eat a lot of crustaceans and stuff, right? And barnacles and mussels out of that.
We fish them with fiddler crabs here, and there's something else that sometimes shrimp, and I forget what else they use, but man, I've gone out there.
Crabs for the blackfish for tog.
Yes. Yep.
So
similar. Yeah. Fiddlers are these little bitty things, man.
Yeah. Tiny. And we just take them. I cut the legs and the claws off, and cut the body in half, and then run the hook through one leg and out the other leg hole.
Yep.
And you're just using like a 4 to 6 ounce weight, depending on the tide and the current and everything.
Right.
And a high-low rig.
Yeah.
So you have one high and one low, and
oh man, don't call it that here, man. It's a chicken rig.
Chicken rig. That's
I call them top and bottom, high, low, and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, you have a one here and one here, and then you got the weight at the bottom. They're like, "You mean chicken rig?" I'm like, "Oh my god, who would call it a chicken?" Anyway,
I've even heard them referred to as drop rigs.
Yes, dropper rigs is a double loop dropper rig is what I but I just the hillbilly. It's high, low, or top bottom.
Yeah.
So you can get mid column and bottom near the bottom of the water column.
Yeah.
But
they'll take you right down in the rocks. You got when you feel that tick tick, you got to swing high and real fast because they go right in the rocks.
So she said here you use a sweeper jig. It's a little 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce, big fat head on a small sharp hook. Okay. It's like a 1/0 hook, and their bite is tick tick real light, and you won't barely feel it. And if you don't set that hook between the first and second nibble, it's gone. And I've spent tons of my friend's money because he bought the bait, and fiddlers ain't cheap. And I spent tons of his money just losing bait. They call them freaking convicts for a reason because they steal all your bait and they don't get hooked.
Tog do the same thing.
Yeah, very similar
tick,
to
tick, and you go and you set the hook and nothing's there, and then you let it back down and you hear tick tick and nothing's there, and then you set it down and then you don't get anything, and you're like, you reel it up and your hook's empty, and it's like, son of a gun.
Yeah, they hit it on the way down and they nibble it off before you even feel them hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we use blue crab here. Blue claw up there, we call them blue crab. You cut them in half, cut the leg, take the legs off, run the hook through, 6/0 hook, give or take. You can use a 4/0, 6/0, 8/0, and that's what we catch the bull redfish on.
Oh, really?
That's it. Oh, redfish love crab. I've caught some crab and fresh whiting. When I catch a whiting, I'll cut it up and I'll put the chunks on it, and man, I have smashed some 30-plus inch redfish here. Man. Can't keep them. The spot right now is 15 to 23.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's fun. It's a fun. It's like fighting a striper.
Oh wow!
Like they run. You sometimes think you have a shark, and like that 21 incher I caught Saturday, he was a bit of a beefy boy.
Okay.
So he had some shoulders to him, and he kept peeling drag on that battle 3. I had to tighten down the drag twice on. Yeah, on the kayak. So my biggest
so you're going for a ride.
Yes, sir. Yeah, the 29-inch I caught last year, man. That took me around and around. He got wrapped up in my thing, and this one too. He went under the kayak, and I'm like, no, not in the fins. Trying to get the rod around so I don't get broke off.
That's pretty cool. You know what I want to try, and I don't know if you ever heard of it when you were up here, but a guy was telling me about Earl Naval Weapons Station. You can pay $75 if you're not active duty,
Right.
as long as you can get on the base. $75, and you drive out like 2-3 miles on this pier, but because it's part of the military base and there's no boats, no kayaks, no jet skis, nothing around that area. He said you pull a bullnose rays, doormat flounder, he said you wouldn't believe the stuff that we catch. You need a basket net because you're up off the waterways. Right. But I definitely want to try that out one of these years. I think it'll be worth it.
I want to say my buddy still patrols there. I think he's a civilian over at Earl. It's pretty close. I used to work at Lakehurst as base safety on Lakehurst. I was right across from Hangar 1, which you would know that's where the the Hindenburg came out. And in the middle of the field, you're driving around, and there's this little thing I didn't know, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And we walked over. It just looks like someone placed a bunch of stones. Yeah. Like, that's where the tail section landed from the Hindenburg. But I thought that was cool. I was like, I never knew it was right here in New Jersey in Hangar 1. And they're like, yeah, that's across the street right there.
Yeah.
And you go and you saw the museum and stuff. It just sucked because they went through that whole, like, oh my God, it offends people to have Nazi symbols. So they start like whitewashing everything at the damn museum. And it's like, bro, it's history. We need that so people know, you know what I mean? That you can't, unfortunately, you can't remove that Nazi symbol because those were the guys we kicked their ass. Like, I'm sorry it offends people, but you need to know that that's what they used to parade around,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But times, man. But Earl's a good place. We have down here, Fletsy is like the Coast Guard kind of station. I think some people fish there, I know. But I know they're active duty still. And then we have Goose Creek Naval Weapons Station. That's where they do stuff, which is really fun to go by in a boat because it's a nuclear sub training base. Oh, wow. So we take our boats out of the landing right down the street, and you go by, and then you see the gunboat, and they're like watching you go by. Don't stop. And I told my buddy jokingly, I said, listen, dude, if they come and approach us and they say anything, I said, all we have to do is tell them we are a Venezuelan fishing charter. And I guarantee they will let us go. No problems, no questions asked.
Yeah, right.
My wife will be cashing in that life insurance policy quick.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even play around with anything like that. Like,
no,
but
it's the only way to go from the waterway and to get down the Cooper River and fish a little bit. And it's public. You just can't go over past a certain point.
Yeah.
You just can't stop in that. You got to keep going. No stopping. Don't whip out a cell phone.
Don't loiter.
Don't be loading your cell phone up.
Don't be creating all kinds of wake or anything. Just peter by, and then once you're
they want you to go. They want you to get by. They don't care about the wake. You're far enough away.
Okay.
But there is no stopping. Don't pull out your cell phone. Like, this is,
Gotcha.
And if you go too close, you'll know because the gunboats will come talk to you.
Yeah.
They'll come out and run.
You don't want that happening.
You
definitely don't want to create any reason for hassle.
Exactly. But there's some good fishing down the road from there, down the river.
Gotcha.
A couple spots. But I haven't yet to make it with my buddy because his little skiff, man, the 6-gallon fuel tank keeps crapping out. He bought it brand new, but it's the cap on it. So we keep running on a 3-gallon, and it's like, dude, we ain't getting that far. So
you do a lot of freshwater down there, or not as much anymore?
No, I do mostly saltwater. Most of the freshwater I'm fishing, unless I'm going to go catfishing and try and catch some catfish to load up a freezer, make some catfish stew. I don't make it. My wife does. It's incredible. We got a couple places I have picked out for that, but Heroes this year, we're doing the first 5 events. So February, March, April, May, June are going to be our freshwater events. So that's where most of my freshwater comes in.
Okay.
I've caught some pretty good sizable bass. I caught a 23-inch and a 19 or 21-inch.
Nice.
A couple years ago. at a lake, and then I caught another one. We weren't able to go last month. March 28th, we had an event scheduled for the same place, but the winds shifted and picked up real heavy. So there was a small craft advisory on the lake, so we went out of the landing right down the street. I live 5 minutes from the landing. I just don't like going out of there.
Oh, man.
It's not good to eat the fish out of that area. It's just bad.
Gotcha.
So it's not fun to fish, you know what I mean? But yeah, that was our backup was over here because it's so protected by woods. The winds didn't affect it as much. But yeah, lake that we were going to be on the open lake, and the lake here it gets stupid really quick. I'm talking 4 to 5 foot swellers.
That's I was out on Round Valley Reservoir up in North Jersey.
No, I never got up North Jersey and fished much.
It's up off of 31, and it's a trophy trout lake.
Okay.
They got some real nice lake trout there. I've caught 18 and 20-inch rainbows out of there, and
right.
It's the limits are higher because it's a trophy trout lake. And
gotcha.
I had a 14-foot Hobie Pro Angler, and
okay.
I had to sell it when I bought my dad's condo because I had a Canyon, GMC Canyon at the time, so I towed the kayak behind on a kayak trailer. And homeowner association rules here, you couldn't have a trailer. So now I have a full-size truck. My plan is to get on a 12-foot Pro Angler and get back on the water because that thing was a battleship. I had it out on Round Valley in December, and the winds kicked up, and it's like a 12 or 1,300 acre lake, reservoir.
Right.
And the winds kicked up, and it was like 4-foot swells, like you're out on the ocean. That thing cut through it like butter. It was it was a total battleship. And I caught my first smallmouth ever there. I was just jigging a blade bait off the bottom in like 30 feet of water.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a lake trout because he was head shaking so much. He jumped and tail danced on me 3 times. I thought I was going to lose him. And first time he jumped, I said, "Oh my God, that's a smallmouth." And I got him to the boat, and he was a 4-pound smallmouth. That was the first and the biggest smallmouth I ever caught.
That's incredible.
So, yeah, it's a pretty good place. I don't get up there as much anymore because I'm in the southern part of the state, so I don't get up there as much. But I definitely want to get back up there at some point. But now you said those freshwater trips are mostly they're with Heroes on the Water?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay. Speak a little bit about that. What, for the viewers that don't know, what is Heroes on the Water and what do they do?
So Heroes on the Water is a nonprofit organization. We were started back, I think 2009, maybe even earlier. I don't remember the exact date. It's a national organization. I'm part of the Low Country chapter, which I don't know if you can see. It says somewhere on there,
Low
Country.
Logo. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the logo you'll see on the main page. And then under here somewhere it says Low Country Chapter. That's our specific to our South Carolina area. I don't work for the organization. I'm a volunteer. I know you said I work for them. I'm the secretary. Okay. So what I like to do is I like to fish. I like to go out and I like to help my fellow veterans. So what we do is we help military members, first responders, veterans, and their family members get out on the water and to get some healing from the invisible wounds, right? And we get them out. We try and this is just talking the volunteer-led chapters. There's another side to Heroes in the Water where they work with the VA and they bring people out. The VA brings the people out, and that's a whole different thing. That's a therapeutic program part.
Gotcha.
I'm not part of it. They have licensed counselors taking people fishing. We're more of, hey, look, we're your brother. We've been in the shit with you. We know what you're going through. Come fish with me. And gotcha. Sometimes you don't say more than 3 words to each other because they just need to sit. And they just you're there in silence. But what we do is we take out military members, veterans, first responders, and their family members for free kayak fishing events. Our chapter, and I don't know that everyone runs this way, but at 1,300, everyone comes back in and our chapter feeds them lunch. And I always promise everyone they're going to have a great time when they come out with us. And if they don't, we'll refund their money.
That's pretty cool.
I said it was free, right? Yeah. So, and what we do is we go out and we put together these trips. We scout them. We have one guy in our leadership team. He pre-fishes the events. I was out pre-fishing with him middle of February, we were pre-fishing as a group. There's a couple of us. We're like family, the 7 guys in our leadership group. And so we usually all go out in a group, 3 or 4 of us at a time, and go pre-fish and whatnot. And man, I was sitting there just chatting with him about life and stuff. And he's just trolling a grub on a freaking a jig head. And we went over this hump, and man, he starts screaming and hollering. He caught a 34-inch striper in the lake, and he's never caught a keeper striper, never caught a big striper. And look at his face, and I'm scooting around. I got you, buddy. I'm reeling my line in now, and he's just whipping around. There's no control in this kayak at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, and I'm coming. He's like, not that way. You're gonna get. And I'm like, well, you pulled in front of me. I'm just trying to get around you to get the net. And he had a little dinky net. I had to get my net. And and 3 different tries, and I scooped it, man. And I got him holding it in my net. He's just like, yeah, man. I think you could hear him in my house hollering. He was so excited.
That's pretty awesome, man. That's pretty awesome. You know what? I love when you hook into something and you're not expecting it.
Exactly.
It just feels like a tank. Now, me the other day, like every fish that hit felt like a tank, but it's because I haven't caught anything yet this year.
Yeah.
So, and I pull it out of the water and look at it, and I tell people all the time, my eye scale is not calibrated. Like the longer I go between catching fish, the bigger the fish looks to me when I finally reel them in, right? So, I joke around, but that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. And you know what? It's funny you speak about the healing ability and the therapeutic effects of fishing, because like I take my nephew fishing a lot. He's a teenager, and if he hasn't gotten a bite in a while, he starts getting a little bored, and he's like, oh, maybe we should get ready to go soon. And I always tell him, like, okay, like 20, 30 minutes, we'll head out. And if I catch a fish, though, all of a sudden he gets interested because he doesn't want me to beat him, right? I can't beat him. I can't catch more fish. So then he's like, well, I think we could stay a little bit. I want to catch a few more fish. So, but I said, you got to kind of get used to the times where you don't catch fish. You got to enjoy nature, right? I said, we got osprey circling overhead. You got blue heron over there. You got kingfishers and loon that are diving in the water and everything. I said, really enjoy, and take everything in, because you're kind of at peace out there, right? And you can kind of reflect on things, and you can clear your head and all that. And it's not always, obviously it's more fun when you're catching fish. Right. But you got to be able to, be at peace with yourself and with nature and with the quiet, and really just enjoy it and take it all in. And that's, in my opinion, when you really get the full benefits out of fishing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember going out with Heroes. I was out with a couple people, and what we do is I'm a volunteer. So like I said, I'm a secretary. I do a lot of work for no pay. But then we also volunteer for the fishing day events. We don't have a lot of volunteers outside of our leadership crew that come out and fish and take veterans. And so we have to up our game as fishermen to help explain to other people, our veterans, our first responders and stuff, what to do. I have a guy, Charlie, God, he's almost 80. And he gets out there and he comes, he'll pal around me. He called me yesterday. He's like, did you ever order those things I asked you about? And I was like, oh, man, the underspins and little beetles, because we're going to try to catch some brim and crappie this weekend.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, he's a good dude, but, we get out and he's by himself. He doesn't have anyone else, And I was like,
oh, wow.
Charlie, you got us? Like, and he's like, well, I don't know how to tie, and I'm going to go to the place ahead of time. I'm like, well, dude, just do a top and bottom rig. And so I got to do a video for him later with some 550 cord that's orange I've laid around. Show him how to do it over knot real quick. Do a single overhand for the lure, and then go up about 10 inches and do a double overhand and another double overhand. There's your top and bottom rig, and you're good.
Yeah.
And I just remember one time I was out there, and I put the bobber out, and I'm just watching it. And I had some stuff on my mind. And all of a sudden, I just zoned out. I just went into another place. But I was watching it, and it was so peaceful and so calm on the water. And just everything cleared. Yeah. And there was nothing but me, nature, and the bobber. And
gotcha.
The other people will talk. I didn't even know where the hell they went. It might have been 20, 30 minutes later when I came out of this, but I was clearing, I needed that reset.
Yeah.
And I was there in my mind, and I was just like, holy cow, this is amazing, and it's helped me with my PTSD. And I remember one of our leadership members coming around, and he was injured in Iraq. I don't remember what vehicle it's called. He basically it's an MRAP. He got blown up, and he got thrown around pretty bad. And he's one of the few guys that survived it. And severe concussion, neck, spine, all those kind of injuries from being tossed around and bashed around. Nothing you'd see, right? No big scars or anything like.
Mm-hmm.
And when he first came around, he wouldn't, he wasn't so talkative, and he wasn't so outgoing and whatnot. And me and another guy who's a friend of mine, I was a little bigger back then, and he's a bigger guy. And we finally looked at him and we're like, Carlos, because when I first went, I was like, we don't shake hands, we hug, because I've been with this organization a little bit over 3 years, and I got pulled into leadership and voluntold pretty early on, like, hey, you're going to do something because they needed somebody, and I was physically there.
Yeah.
And I was like, we hug, that's how, and we pull him in, give him a hug. Well, he's standing there, and I was like, Carlos, you know what time it is? And I looked over at the other guy, and I said, you know what time it is? Fat boy sandwich time. And we just put him in the middle, and we just hugged him, man. We wouldn't let him go. But he needed that. And it brought him out. And now he's very social. He doesn't walk up and shake hands. He hugs. He doesn't stand 30 feet away from people, It's the beauty of it's the beauty of doing this and helping out.
That's a testament to what you guys do, seeing those effects, not just with the veterans and first responders and their family members that you take out, but amongst the volunteers as well. You're helping each other too. And
exactly.
Like you said, you mentioned it earlier, like, hey, we're your brother and we've been through this too. So you know what it's like. And, you guys need it just as much as the people you're helping,
Yep. Every one of us on our leadership team is fire chief, Army veteran. We have a detective. We have a former firefighter.
Nice.
I'm trying to think of who else. The one guy who comes out with us, his brother was in the military and passed away. And then a lot of us are military veterans,
Oh, wow.
And
that's a good deal,
so
man.
We've got a
good deal.
Yeah. And then, when you meet someone, it's like, hey, come out with us. Oh, I don't know. I'm a firefighter, man. What did you know? Well, shit, we got a firefighter right here. He's been injured in house fires. Goes off to him. They
go through it too. Law enforcement goes through it. EMTs, all that stuff, the stuff they see. They all go through it. And, it's different depending on the profession, right? It's different depending on the branch of the military you're in. But that doesn't mean that any situation or demon that you're dealing with is worse or better than another, right? It all needs to be dealt with.
Sir.
And that's what the group is there for, to help with that. So it's phenomenal that you guys do that. Now, is there a specific website for your chapter, or is there just the main Heroes on the Water website? Or
the main heroesonthewater.org is the best way, because honestly, you're in New Jersey, I'm in South Carolina.
Yeah,
we'd love to have you come down and fish with us.
Love to get down there one of these days.
I've got a 5-bedroom house and only 2 bedrooms are being used. You can have your own floor if you want. I got 3 floors. It gets hot up there. So you don't want to I'll put you in the cool room. Trust me. But you come down, I'll take some time off. We'll go fishing. We'll go out on my boat and I'll take you around and take you to some cool places to fish. But, it's very nice.
That'd be sweet. Definitely. You got to plan that at some point in the future.
Yes, sir. You can add it to the podcast.
yeah, definitely. Well, I'll definitely be filming it when we go out.
Yeah, but Heroes is a national program, so we've got chapters all over the U.S. What you do is you go on heroesonthewater.org.
Cool.
You look for, and you can go on there and see all the professionally written up explanation of what we do. Our motto is paddle, fish, heal. I like to say we help each other heal one cast at a time. But you go on under volunteer chapters or volunteer-led chapters, whatever it's called, and you can use the map and find one that's close to you. I was in DC work talking to a friend of mine saying, dude, I love fishing. I love to get out. And and I was in DC and I met with some of the IW people up in DC. And I was like, I used to post on their page. I'm like, look, I'll be working in DC. I'm looking for people to meet up with and just hang out because I'll be here for a couple of days every other week. I met a guy named Nate, and we were sitting at the bar chatting. And we love cigars and whiskey, and he's like, yeah, Heroes in the Water. You ever heard of him? And I was like, no. And he's like, here. And he gave me the website, and I went on, and I looked, and I was like, well, shit, Low Country chapter. Charleston, that's right down the road. Let's go. And then I found out that Luther, the way we run our chapter, is we do everything from Beaufort to Merrill's Inlet. So that's a 2-hour each way.
Wow. Yeah.
My house, it's an hour and a half to 2 hours for either way. And then we go out to the other side of the lakes, which is another hour and a half. We used to go out even further out towards Shaw Air Force Base out at Lake Wateree and Lake Murray.
Okay.
Then we wound up realizing it's only the volunteers that are going up there.
Yeah.
So it's only our Charleston people going. So we're spending all this money. We spend out of our own pocket. We don't get reimbursed for fuel. The only thing we get is a free lunch like everybody else.
Gotcha.
So we're spending all this money and we're not getting one new person from that area. But if we concentrate here, we get better turnouts. And so we started concentrating between the hour and a half north and the hour and a half south out to Lake Murray and Lake Moultrie Lake Marion and Lake Moultrie because that's the Santee Cooper system, and we pick up people within those areas. Some people prefer freshwater. I love saltwater. Most of us that are in leadership love saltwater. We were out Saturday and had a little impromptu tournament. There was 4 of us that showed up, and $20 a man. And like I said, I didn't win the pot, but I got dinner.
Yeah.
So. The guy who drives the diesel truck, he needed that $80 for his gas.
Diesel's getting high right now. You mentioned going for crappie. Now, I haven't done really a lot of crappie fishing. Not intentionally, let me put it that way.
Right.
Same here. I've had, so full disclosure, I don't like to use live bait, right?
Okay.
I'll get live shiners when I'm taking a kid fishing or when I'm taking somebody fishing who hasn't fished before because I want them to have the best opportunity to catch something.
Right.
And if I have minnows left over at the end of the day, I'll go out the next day and use them up fishing before I switch over to my lures, right?
Right.
I've had crappie at this one lake that I go to that the laws of physics don't apply here for some reason, right? But I've had crappie hit 4-inch minnows. I've had crappie hit 5-inch topwaters.
Yeah.
Right?
Like a whopper flopper?
No, like a Megabass Dog X Diamante.
Okay.
Which is like a 5-inch walking topwater. You walk the dog with it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've had them hit that.
Dang.
And I couldn't believe, like, these crappie get pretty aggressive. And they're nice. Like, some of them are like dinner plate size. They get pretty big at this lake. So you can catch crappie on stuff like that, too. Depending on how aggressive they are in your area and how big they get.
Right.
I've also had, I don't know if you saw the video, but I had a 35-pound snapping turtle that bit a 12-inch wake snake.
Oh, no, I didn't. I'll check that one out.
Oh, it was like Godzilla versus Kong, and Kong almost got his butt beat.
Yeah.
So I cast the wake snake out. It's like 12 inches. I think it's made by Savage Gear. And I usually let it sit because it'll kind of waggle a little bit as the water, rays spread out. And so I tossed it out there. I'm letting it sit for a minute. And I went to start reeling, and my line went tight, and all of a sudden it went under. I never felt a thump, a tick, nothing. And so I set the hook because I thought I'm either stuck in something or something's got it. So my rod's bending and I'm pulling. All of a sudden it comes up to the surface. I said, oh man, it's a turtle. I get it closer. Now I'm usually like knee deep in the water.
Yeah.
And the bank where I was fishing, in the water, there's all these like rocks that are like, bigger than a softball, smaller than a bowling ball, right? So it's kind of uneven. And I get him close and I realized it was a snapper. Well, I had
Oh,
seen videos on how to pick them up without them being able to bite you, but I had
right.
never done it before. I had never caught a snapping turtle before, so I didn't trust it. But apparently, right in front of their back legs, there's like this little shelf that you can kind of
Mm.
grab onto on the shell and then pick them up, and they can't bite you from there. So, um, I'm up on the bank now, and the bank is rocky and an incline. I set my rod down over here. I finally got a hand on him. I picked him up, and I turned this way. Well, when I turned this way to walk up the bank, the line wrapped around my legs, and I started going down. And I set him off that way, and I rolled that way because all I could picture was him landing on my chest and giving me a kiss. And
Yeah, yeah,
I, I I did it for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted my lure back, which he ended up biting in
right.
half anyway. But two, I like to release things in as unharmed and unmolested a way as possible. So I didn't want him
Yep.
swimming around the lake looking like Dennis Rodman with all these piercings in his face that he didn't ask for,
Yeah,
right? So I finally got him unhooked and got him back in the water, but it was not a fun experience. Now, after that, I caught some smaller snappers, like 10, 15
right.
pounds, and that was no big deal. I just grab him by the back of the shell, pick him up, use my hook remover, get it out. But
Yeah.
that big guy, his head was bigger than my fist. And,
Wow.
yeah, he was no slouch. And I was like, really, this has got to be the first one? But, I guess indoctrination by fire is the way, best way to learn.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I'm the same way, and if I'm not keeping the fish, or it's as quick as I can get back in the water.
yeah,
I want to get a quick picture. I want to get it back in. I want if it's especially if it's a redfish that's over slot size.
yeah.
Under slot size, they don't get as stressed when you get the bigger ones fighting them and stuff. You stress them, and it helps the population. I go through all these DNR classes. I'm also a member, not anything in leadership, with low country saltwater anglers, and that's for like beach and saltwater and boat fishing.
Gotcha.
They have meetings right up the road, and I joined it because my buddy's in there, and they have heroes out there to talk about us, and so it's a nice way to kind of like partner with another organization.
Yeah,
But we
definitely.
just had the lady from DNR, Department of Natural Resources, the game
Yeah,
wardens. She's a biologist, and she was talking about, how long and, what kind of injury and stuff it does to fish, the lactic acid and all that stuff. And I'm like, lady,
yeah,
whatever. I'm giving it a kiss and putting it back in the water, but a
yeah.
lot of them, some of them do pass away afterwards. Even if you handle them right, you do everything right just from the stress.
Well,
But so it's
and
try not to stress them out, keep them,
yeah,
as quick out of the water as possible. Get them on the board, get a picture, get the size,
yeah,
get them back.
yeah. I stopped taking pictures for the most part. Now, if I catch a
Right.
monster, I'm going to get a picture of it. But because I'm recording all the time, I don't.
Right.
You always have critics, and I've had a few people comment on some of my videos. Oh, he's not going to survive. Oh, that one's dead. Why'd you let it go? Well,
Yeah.
one, you know, if it's gut hooked or something like that, right? There's a chance it could
Yep.
survive. Is there a chance it won't? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I try to get the hook out and get them back in the water. And most of my stuff, like I don't like tossing them in the water. Like I usually hold their
Nope.
lip and let them sit there and recuperate for a minute, and they'll let you know when they're ready to go. And as soon as they
Right.
start kind of pulling, you let them go. And I've had some where I let go and they're just hanging onto my thumb, and I'm like, let go of
Yeah.
my thumb, dude. Like you're free to go. But you try to. But like you said, there's sometimes you can't help it.
Yep.
And if it's a decent sized fish, I may try to get a weight on it, especially because my eye scales are not calibrated,
Right.
right? Or if I weigh it and it seems like if I think it should weigh more, I may get like hold it up to my rod so I can go ahead and measure that later and say,
Right.
okay, because I have a chart and I don't know how accurate it is, but it basically says like based on the length of the bass, this is the minimum weight, this is the normal weight, and this is like the
Okay.
high weight for that
Yeah.
length. So I can kind of tell. Like last fall, I was catching some, and I was telling them they need to get their man to take them to better places to eat because they were a little thin.
Yeah, it depends on the lake and area. And you can tell you're a freshwater fisherman. You say you stick your thumb in their mouth. Go ahead on saltwater. Go ahead. The redfish have teeth down
Yep.
here. What they call flounder or fluke up
Yeah,
there. So
they have teeth.
flounder have big old nasty teeth down here.
Yeah.
The trout have two big fangs. Like everything has freaking teeth in saltwater, or they're really rough gill plate, worse than a catfish. Like, you don't want to put your finger in anything. So it's scoop, cradle, put it on the board. We all use catch boards. A lot of us are fishing tournaments.
Gotcha.
We use catch boards on our kayaks. I got into it. I got a catch board because that's like accepted at every tournament. So you just put it. Now I never take the best pictures on having a fish on my lap, and I'm like trying to get a picture from this far away, and it's that big. It ain't wanting to get in the screen in my phone.
I'm mastered a selfie, like holding them up and holding my arm out and everything. Yeah. So I'll do that, and it's funny you say that because I'll grab just because I'm used to it. I've grabbed trout by the teeth. Like I'll grab them by the lip, and I'll feel the teeth, and I'll be like, "Well, it's too late now." And I've done the same thing with what was the other one you mentioned?
Flounder or fluke?
Trout and flounder. Yeah, I've done it with flounder. Yeah. Now pike, I slide up under the gill plate and put a thumb against their jaw. And muskie, well, they're the fish at 10,000 casts. I'm at like 47,000 casts, and I still haven't caught one. So, but I would do that the same way as I do the pike. Just grab them. Pickerel, I'll just grab them behind the back of the head. And do it that way. But, it's pike, pickerel, muskie, they're like freshwater barracuda.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've caught a couple up there in Jersey, and then I was down here, and we were fishing last February, and pre-fishing an event, and I had my little 3.5 foot little teeny tiny rod. And God, I think I bought this in like 2000 something, close to like 2002, 2003. And that thing, I just threw new line on it. I was like, all right, we'll see, because it's for trout fishing. I'm like, whatever. I threw an underspin. I caught like a 24-inch freaking pickerel or 20-inch pickerel. It was wild. It was a wild fight. The bottom was like, doing, doing. It's like a wet noodle. It just bit round itself. It was like a figure eight. I was like, what the hell? And I'm fighting it in, and we landed. That day, man, I was on fire that day. My buddy's like, I can't catch one if I put $20 on my line, and you caught 7. And I'm like, bro, my luck will change. And guess what? We went out this Saturday with that tournament, and he won the pot. He got a flounder, he got a small red, he got a small flounder, and he got 2 trout. I got 1 flounder, 1 red. And I was like, you're fishing 50 foot apart most of the day. And then never fails. I always joke that like we're cursed together, me and him and me and another buddy. When he went across the river and went down by the dock in this other little channel, and I kept fishing the same spot, man. I put that rod out there with the popping cork, and I had that shrimp on it, and I lit the cigar, and it always happens when I light a cigar or I have a sandwich in my hand. And bam, that's when that rod went off, and I was screaming across the thing, hell, I got one! Hey, Chief! He's like, dude, I heard you, but at the same time, I had one.
Oh, man. That's awesome when y'all double up.
I just caught one.
Yeah.
So
my buddy and I did that on the on that party boat with the flounder. We doubled up a couple times where I had a fish hit mine, and he was right next to me and had one hit his, and that's awesome because then you're both like just reeling like crazy, see what you got.
Yep.
That's a pretty cool deal. That's a pretty cool deal, man. Well, hey, I really appreciate you coming on. I know we had some stuff. We kind of delayed it and everything, but, I understand busy, I appreciate you blocking out some time so that we could, get a good time to chat and to get to know you and to hear about Heroes on the Water, as well.
Look up your local chapters. There's some up by you. I mean, we have Tidewater. There's some in Maryland. We had a couple of them, the guys come down from Tidewater last year and Tangier Sound, and I think there was one other chapter. There was like 3 chapters, and like 3 or 4 of each of the members' leadership came down in the last February and fished with us in the lake out of a campground. I forget the dang name of it now. And then like we were fortunate to have donations that came in that were really nice. So we bought a bigger trailer. So there's one in Panama City Beach or Panama City that they used to have a chapter and then it went defunct. Well, the guy who ran it way back when decided to bring it back around. He wanted to devote his time to it. And so we gave him our old trailer and I think 4 kayaks. And then I couldn't go because I had work. But like I said, having 10 days off a year and I'm using it to go see family in Jersey or, using 4 days in April, right? Like I don't have much left. Yeah. We had 3 or 4 guys from our leadership go down to Panama City or Panama Beach, whichever one it is, and help them run their first event last year. Cool. So and then our guys out and fish, and
guy named Gene that is involved with Heroes on the Water. I think he works for the VA, like as a coordinator or something, and he's out in Denver, and he runs. The Double S podcast, and he had me on last summer. And I was messaging with him a week or 2 ago, and he was like, he's like, want to have you back on the show, blah, blah, blah. But he's involved with Heroes in the Water out there, and they're on Double S podcast. They stream on YouTube, and they it's like a break off from his other organization, True Patriot Outfitters.
Okay.
And I think they're on the Heroes Media Network as well.
I'll check that out.
There's a few veteran podcasts or veteran-centric podcasts that are on the Heroes Media Network or the Heroes Media Group. But they'll stream it on there and YouTube and all that stuff. And it's a pretty good thing. But that was when I first heard about Heroes on the Water.
Okay, good.
And then just happened to touch base with you. And I was like, this would be pretty cool to have you on and have you talk about it because I think it's awesome what you guys do. And I think you're doing definitely doing God's work, helping our brothers and sisters that are dealing with those unseen injury, and the demons.
But it also helps their family too. It helps them understand a little bit, like, because now you have someone you've never met, and it's like, well, I've kind of gone through something similar, and we've talked with, wives or girlfriends or kids, that come out, and it's like, you know what, but it doesn't, and it helps reassure them, and it helps them understand a little better, but it also helps them because not only is your veteran in the house traumatized, but everyone around them is traumatized, right?
Yeah.
In some way. From whatever's going on.
They want to help. They don't know how to help. They don't know what's going on. They don't fully understand it because they didn't go through it. And then I'm sure it can create tensions and frustration and things like that too. So
me being a little kid, my grandfather's a World War II veteran, and don't go in his room later at night and try and wake him up, or don't go in early in the morning and wake him up. And why is that? Well, he's having nightmares. What? Like. Yeah. My grandma would brush it off. I just the worst stuff, That's kind of how they dealt with it. So had an early, not knowing, what it was then, but had an early introduction to it. He'd only talk about his time in World War II very seldom with me. He'd break out the album and he'd be like, well, the Nazis were going by and we're eating our Thanksgiving rations and sitting in a barn waiting for them to pass so we can kill them or whatever, and sitting hiding amongst the manure piles, like crazy stories, and it's like, well, dude, it's no generation escaped it. You know what I mean?
No,
it's just how they dealt with it. And how
I think every generation has dealt with it in some way.
Yeah.
And thank God we got people that are willing to step up and defend the country and our ideals and our way of life,
yes, sir. And that's
the sacrifice they make.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said it's one of the reasons why I served. My grandfather served. He was Army. Yeah. I was, it was my way of saying, I want to ensure this continues, ensure freedom continues in the country. I'm going to do my part. You gave your time back then. You too old now. I'll do it,
Yeah. And that's a really cool thing. It's a hell of a calling, and and it's a sacrifice. Everybody sacrifices something. Like that saying, all gave some, but some gave all.
Yeah.
And it's not an easy thing to go through. It's not an easy thing to understand if you haven't gone through it. So what you guys do with Heroes in the Water, I definitely think is a phenomenal opportunity for people, and I think, like me personally, I think fishing and getting out there on the kayaks and stuff like that, I think there's almost no better way to really kind of find your peace
Yeah.
and kind of center yourself again, and I
Yep.
think it could help a lot of people, and I wish you guys a lot of continued success
Thank you.
as far as that's concerned. For everyone viewing at home, I'm going to put a link down in the description for Heroes on the Water if you want to learn more about it. If you want to find a local chapter that's close to you and maybe help out in some kind of way, I'm sure they're probably all looking for volunteers
Oh yeah.
and people that want to help out, because the more volunteers they have, the more people they can help out as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we
So,
have companies that will sponsor lunches every now and then. A lot of the local fish grounds, the freshwater places we go out of, they'll let us lunch for free, and then they host a lunch for our crew at the end. And normally, like our events are 0800 to 1300.
okay.
I don't think anyone leaves before 1500. I mean, there's some, but most of us sit around. We start. That's where the real healing comes in on the
Yeah.
water. Yes, there's some. We're catching fish. We're chatting. But afterwards, everyone had a good time, and then we feed them some lunch, and that's when you start. You're together. We eat and chow together, right? We're back. We're back in our home place. We're all together. It's like camaraderie, brotherhood, sisterhood, and we get together, and then we have chow, and that honestly opens people up. And usually, I'm there till 13, probably 15 to 1700 most times before I go home.
Cool.
Sometimes we go back out and fish. Some of the guys bring their own kayaks.
Gotcha.
We eat,
And,
but a lot of times
for you civilian folks that are watching, 15 to 1700 is like 3 to 5 p.m. Just so you know.
Yeah,
my wife knows. Military, we tell time the normal time, right? Not civilian time.
I still have that 80s kid. I come home around dark. The street lights coming on. I better get my butt home. My wife knows. And she knows I'm a Heroes event. She supports me, and I tell you, it's a lot of work on her. A lot of things that she picks up while I'm spending time. Like once I get done here, I have to submit our free fishing license for a veteran for this week's event coming up on the 18th, and that's and then chase down people and get them to sign all the waivers and whatnot. So it's not easy, but it's rewarding.
Yeah, it's not just show up that day and go fishing with a bunch of people. Yeah. There's a lot of work that goes into it.
The participants have it great. Show up at 7:45, 8 o'clock, get a safety brief, get on the kayak, we help you on, we hand you the gear if you don't gear, we tie stuff on, we give you bait. Every one of us loves fishing. Every one of us is a veteran, first responder, helping out our fellow veterans. We give out of our tackle bags. No one cares about the money that costs. We have guys putting out their tackle bags all the time. Here, let me tie this on for you. Throw it over here. Do the, to get people to get on fish, but to also help them out because we love each other.
Yeah. So, and it's funny because I drive around. So year round, my truck has about a half a Bass Pro Shops in it, right? And I'll be talking to somebody at a lake. They'll ask me questions, especially when I'm filming now, or if I got the Whiskey Tango fishing shirt on, or they see the decal on my truck, and they start talking to me, and they'll ask questions, and I'll say, well, look, you got your textbook ways of doing it. This is how I do it. This is what's worked for me. And if I'm talking to them about stuff, I'll give them a few soft plastics, or I'll say, here, try this. Here, let me give you a couple hooks. This is how you rig it up. I show them how to tie knots, stuff like that, because it helps further the sport, right? And that next generation of anglers and things of that nature. So it keeps things alive. And like you said, it's paying it forward. You give out your tackle bug. I got so much stuff, that I've got because I get nervous about running out of certain soft plastics that I really like or whatever else. So if I find them on sale, find a deal on them, I scoop a bunch up and, but it's, you got to help each other out,
Yes, sir.
So I really appreciate you coming on, man. You folks that are watching at home, if you like this episode, you like this content, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our content going forward. Share my channel with anyone you think might enjoy this content, might like fishing, might want to get into fishing, right? Because most of my videos, I show you what I'm catching, what I'm using to catch them, and I describe how I'm working the different baits, right? So every video is a little bit different. All of them I'm catching fish, right? So then that's what it's all about. If you're having fun and you're catching fish, you're not doing it wrong. That's what I say. But I appreciate you all tuning in to watch. And Don, before we get out, any final parting words of wisdom?
No, I just thank you very much for your time, and anyone that's listening, I thank you for listening to us talk fishing. I love talking fishing, and if you're so inclined and you're able to help out with a Heroes on the Water local chapter, please do. If you can't and you got some money, you want to go ahead and donate, please, because that's how we buy new kayaks. We bought 4 or 5 kayaks because of donations last year. If you want and you really like me and you want to help us out, Heroes on the Water Low Country Chapter, find us on the heroesonthewater.org, and you can donate directly to us through there. And if not, find me on Facebook and just hit me up. And honestly, you want to talk fishing anytime. My wife loves to hear all the fishing talk that we do, especially because I bought a boat and I'm friends with captains in the area. So it's nonstop fishing.
Oh, so she loves it. No sarcasm with that at all, right? When you said
no, sir.
She really loves it. Like it makes her day.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, my pleasure, man. My pleasure. Hopefully, we get to meet up at some point and do some fishing down your neck of the woods, or if you're up here visiting family and you got some time, let me know if you want to drop some lines in the water, and maybe some point we'll have you back on here too for another episode of Hook, Line, and Service. If you got anything big going on, any big events or something like that, we'll put something together for that.
Definitely. I think we'll have to do some joint stuff. I'll have to come up there and you'll have to come down here.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Because I think it'd be fun, and we both got great beards, you know.
Yeah, I actually just trimmed it. It was actually down to here, and then I was like, it was getting too in my mouth and in the way, and I was like, you know what? Let me trim down for summer. I want to feel some hair on my neck for once.
Mine's got a little more chrome in it than yours. But
yeah, I'm getting there. The red's coming out and the white's coming in, so I understand.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, folks. Again, thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you next time on Whiskey Tango Fishing.